Hola chicos, sabéis que nuestras clases van a ser online y aunque estamos en Teams, vais a trabajar mediante este vídeo hoy y parte de mañana también, ¿ok? So, in this video vamos a tener una clase, vais a tener que trabajar conmigo, ¿ok? At some point you will have to press pause and work and then we'll come back to the video. Everything as you can see is in OneNote. And yes, let's start because we're going to do a little bit of grammar today. We should have been doing the grammar. We can't afford just to fall behind. So let's we go. And then next week, hopefully, we will be able to look at this and do revision in lesson time. So, lo primero que vais a hacer, tenéis este reading en el vídeo. ¿Ok? Quiero que intentéis traducirlo en español, en inglés, perdonad, sobre todo fijándonos muy bien en qué significan las palabras en rojo. ¿Ok? Acordaos que lo que vamos a aprender es comparativos, comparative y superlatives. ¿Ok? ¿Qué significan las palabras en rojo? ¿Ok? That is very important. Okay, yes to know, cualquier, very good verb significa any, that's what cualquier means. Y por otro lado, it's a great linking word that you need to know and have in your book and learn. Significa on the other hand. Okay, so those two are quite important. Okay. So let's see you can do. So press pause and see if you can understand what, translate that for me. Okay, so hopefully now you translated that and you should have something like this. Vivo en una ciudad que se llama Ely. I live in a city which is called Ely. Es una ciudad que está en Cambridgeshire, cerca de Cambridge. It's a city which is in Cambridgeshire, near Cambridge. Sin embargo, no es tan grande como Cambridge. See if you translated this correct. However, no es, is not, tan como, as big as Cambridge. So this is how we say as, tan como. This is how we say as. Ely es más pequeña que otras ciudades importantes de Inglaterra. Ely is more small than, in good English, smaller than. So to say more than, in Spanish we say más que, more than. Other city, important cities than in English. Remember, in Spanish, first is the noun, and then is the adjective, and the adjective needs to agree with the noun. So if the noun is plural, ciudades, you need to have importantes, es in both of them. Pero por otro lado, on the other hand, la catedral de Ely es más grande que. Ely Cathedral is more big than, bigger than. We know más que is more than. Cualquier, any church of Cambridge. La catedral es sin duda, without a doubt, a really good practice, a very good thinking word as well, el edificio más importante de Ely. The building most important of Ely. This is basically literal translation. In good English, the most important building. So this is how we do, this is called the superlative, to say the most. El edificio más. So más could be more, or if it comes with el in front of it, it would be most. Okay, el edificio más importante de Ely. And then hay muchos turistas. There are many tourists que visitan la ciudad debido a, because of. Okay, because is porque, because of, debido a este edificio tan antiguo, as old, okay, or so old. Okay. Bien. Hola. Okay. Okay. Okay, sorry about this. Venga, Marina. Sorry about that, that was my daughter. Bien, so, eso es lo que tenemos, lo como decimos, the comparative and the superlative. So, let's do a recap. Okay, see if you really understand it. Para decir en español, more than, we say más que, more than. To say less than, we say menos que. less historical than, menos histórico que. To say as big as important as, we say as, okay? ¿De acuerdo? Tan como. All right, and then this is a part that for me can be a little bit tricky. So let's do a little bit of work on that. To say the most beautiful city, for example, in Spanish would be, we need to say the. Now the, as you know, there are 4 ways to say the in Spanish. Okay, we can say the with el, la, los, las, because I'm talking about the most beautiful city, and I know city is feminine and it's la is ciudad, la ciudad, I'm going to use la. So la ciudad más bonita. So literally this is what we've said. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I need to change that. Okay, so this is what literally where we said. The city most beautiful. Why? Because in Spanish first we say the noun and then we say the adjective. And most beautiful is the adjective. So the city, Ili is the city most beautiful. Ili is the most beautiful city. Es la ciudad más bonita. First the noun, la ciudad, the city, and then most beautiful. Look at this. The most old place. The placed, most old. The place, el lugar, okay, it's masculine, that's what we call el. Must, most, and then we said old, antiguo. Okay, el lugar más antiguo, the place most old, the oldest place. And then we have this. Okay, what does it mean? El mejor would be the best. Los or las mejor is the best as well when I'm referring to something plural. Peor would be the worst. So that would be the best. And los or las peores, the worst as well when I'm referring to something plural. So if I want to say Ili is the worst city, Ili es the worst. La peor ciudad. And now it's literal translation, which is brilliant. La peor ciudad. So Ili is the best city in Cambridgeshire. Ili es la, the best would be mejor ciudad. Okay? Using superlative and comparing things with the present and the past, etc., or with 2 different cities will give you extra points, which is why we're doing this. Okay, so let's see if you understand this. In OneNote, you can have a summary of what we've done. So what I would like you now to do is to press pause in the video and try to translate this into Spanish. Remember, one of would be uno de. And remember that when we say one of the oldest buildings in Spanish, we have to say one of the buildings oldest. Okay, it's no literal translation. Or one of the most beautiful cities would be one of the cities most beautiful. So press pause and translate this into Spanish in your OneNote in the box by the side. Okay, hopefully you went through it now. Let's see how you did. So Ili is more important. You should have Ili es más importante que otras ciudades como Newmarket. Okay, so this is basically, yeah, that's what you have. More than, más que. For the next one would be, Ili's Cathedral is one of the oldest buildings in England. La Catedral de Ili es uno de, so this was one of, uno de, and now I need to say the building's oldest. First is the noun, so because buildings is plural would be los, es uno de los edificios oldest, más an adjective agreement, antiguos en Inglaterra. Okay, so it can only be like that. Next one, Ili is quieter than Cambridge, more quiet. It's easy. Ili es más tranquilo que Cambridge. Ely is not as noisy as a big city like London. Ely no es, as remember was tan ruidoso como una ciudad grande como Londres. Ely is one of the most beautiful cities in the southeast. Ely es una de, and now this is important, we need to say the cities most beautiful, de las ciudades, first is the noun and now is the adjective, más bonitas, adjective agreement because we call las ciudades, más bonitas en el sureste. And Ely, nice literal translation, is the best city in England. Ely es la mejor, and it's la because it's the city and it's feminine. Ciudad en Inglaterra. In order to, remember, para vivir con una familia, with a family. Okay, let's see, give yourself a tick if it's all correct. Okay, and we're going to do some practice with all this. Okay, we're going to do a listening. Y vamos a hacer un battleships listening. Tenéis, you've got the box by the side from 1 to 10. Tenéis que escribir la coordenada. Can you see you got the coordinates here? So if I'm going to read 10 sentences and you need to write the coordinates that you think of the things I'm saying. So, por ejemplo, si digo, Ely tiene más diversiones que Witchford, that was this one. Ely has more amenities than Witchford. That would be A4 or 4A. So this is about understanding things. Okay, chicos? De acuerdo. Okay, remember, given that, that's a good one. Given that would be dado. Sorry about that. Okay. Given that would be, gonna put it, sorry, here. Dado que is a good one, given that. So that's a very good expression. Okay. So let's start. Okay. Empezamos. 1. En Londres hay una gran gama de espectáculos y entretenimiento. Repito, en Londres hay una gran gama de espectáculos y entretenimiento. 2. Ely tenía menos tráfico hace 20 años. Repito, Ely tenía menos tráfico hace 20 años. 3. Si te gusta la historia, Ely es el lugar ideal porque tiene muchos edificios históricos. Repito, si te gusta la historia, Ely es el lugar ideal porque tiene muchos edificios históricos. 4. La catedral es uno de los edificios más antiguos en Inglaterra. Repito, la catedral es uno de los edificios más antiguos en Inglaterra. 5. Ely es más tranquilo que Londres. Repito, Ely es más antiguo que Londres. 6. Ely es más cómodo que Londres. Repito, Ely es más cómodo que Londres. 7. Va a ser Cambridge es más grande que Ely. Repito, Cambridge es más grande que Ely. 8. Ely tiene una catedral bonita que fue construida en el siglo XII. Repito, Ely tiene una catedral bonita que fue construida en el siglo XII. Ok. Siguiente. 9. La semana pasada cogí el tren para ir a Cambridge porque tiene más tiendas que Ely. Repito, La semana pasada cogí el tren para ir a Cambridge porque tiene más tiendas que Ely. Y número 10, y esta va a ser la última, ¿okay? Va a ser Cambridge está cerca de Ely. Por lo tanto, voy allí en tren para ir de compras. Repito, Cambridge está cerca de Ely. Por lo tanto, voy allí en tren para ir de compras. Okay, so that was a listening. Let's see where you go. Número 1, you should have, okay, let's see this one then, okay, C2. Número 2, tenéis que tener B1. Número 3, D4. Please check it. Número 4, B2. Número 5, A1. Número 6, A2. Número 7, C3. Número 8, C1. Número 9, B3. Número 10, D3. So that's the coordinators that you should have. Ok. Y lo que vamos a hacer ahora, chicos, es práctica. So, using your table in your books, okay, what you are going to do is you're going to translate this for me. We're going to do some practice with the superlative because that's normally the one that it requires the most attention, okay? So, lo que vais a hacer, tenemos estos flashcards, vais a traducir esto por escrito, in writing, okay? So, we're going to jumble, yes, we're going to jumble the sequence. I also so you're going to need to write 11 sentences. The prettiest river. How would it be that in Spanish? Remember, in Spanish it would be the river prettiest. Okay, the river prettiest. So you can press pause and write it down and your answer, okay, now write it down and your answer should be el río más bonito. Okay, next one, the most wonderful culture. Remember, in Spanish would be the culture most wonderful. Okay, ¿cómo se dice esto en español? Remember different ways of saying wonderful. Amazing. Well, yes. Splendid. Okay, how do you say wonderful? The answer would be, press pause, write it down. The answer would be la cultura más maravillosa. New word that you didn't know, maravillosa. So we say the culture most wonderful. Next one, the most famous restaurant. Remember, in Spanish we say the restaurant most famous. Okay, so how would it be that in Spanish? Write it down and it should be el restaurante más famoso. Muy bien. The most welcoming shop. So remember, the shop most welcoming. Okay, en español. Press pause, write it down. La tienda más acogedora. Because it's feminine, we need to say acogedora. Next one. One of the most historical cities. Okay, one of the cities most historical. Okay, right, how would it be? One of. Okay, una de las ciudades más acogedoras. Okay, acogedor. Acogedora es feminine, plural, una de las ciudades más acogedoras. That was hard. The most industrial place. The place most industrial. Press pause. Traducirlo. Translate it for me, please. El lugar más industrial. Muy bien. 7. The most exciting show. Show, remember, was el espectáculo. Okay, so that's going to be it doesn't allow me to write el espectáculo. So it would be el espectáculo más emocionante. Okay, muy bien. Next one. 8. The oldest building. The building oldest. So that would be, press pause, el edificio más antiguo. 9. The cleanest river. The river cleanest. el río más limpio. And si no, because río is masculine. Excelente. 10. Ely has the oldest cathedral. Ely has the cathedral oldest. Ely has, tiene la catedral más antigua. And the last one, the most welcoming city. You could say Ely is the most welcoming city. Ely es, press. Translated, the answer should be la ciudad más acogedora in Cine, because ciudad is feminine. Okay. So that's it. That's everything we're going to be doing. Okay. Con esto tenéis más trabajo looking OneNote, but this is the end of the video. Okay. Adiós.